I'm going to teach you what you need to know about fractions. There are 4 fraction skills that you must know. You must know how to reduce or simplify a fraction, how to raise a fraction, how to go from a mixed to an improper, and from an improper to a mixed. If you can learn how to do these 4 skills, you can do all fractions. It just means you might do 3 or 4 of those skills at one time in a problem. So to reduce a fraction, you're going to divide the top and bottom by the same. So if I have 12/30ths, I think, what can go into both 12 and 30? Maybe all you see is an even number, so you divide it by 2. That's okay. You'll get it down to a smaller number. Top and bottom are divided by the same, so this is 6/15. Can something go into both 6 and 15? Yes, 3. So we're going to divide this by 3 over 3. 6 divided by 3 is 2. 15 divided by 3 is 5. So you end up with 2/5. I could have also, 2 times 3 is 6. If I had divided this by 6, 12 divided by 6 is 2, and 30 divided by 6 is 5. So you can think of bigger numbers, but it's okay to go with small numbers. To raise a fraction, we use raising when we're going to add or subtract fractions and we need to find a common denominator. So to raise a fraction, you're going to do the opposite of reduce. You're going to multiply both the top and bottom by the same number. The reason we use the same number is because 2 over 2 is equal to 1. 3 over 3 is equal to 1. And when we divide anything by 1 or multiply anything by 1, we don't change its value. We just chop it up differently. So if we have 1/2 and we want to raise this to 14ths, you're going to say, what do I take 2 times to get 7? Well, I take it times 7. So I'm going to multiply it. 1 times 7 is 7. So you raise the top and bottom by the same. To go from a mixed number to an improper number, a mixed number is a combination of whole numbers and fractions. So let's say we have 2 and 1/4. If I want to go to an improper number, I need to make it into a fraction. So I want you to visually think what's happening here. You have 2 full pizzas and you have 1/4 of a pizza. Okay, so if we divide this into 4 parts and this into 4 parts, you now have 8 pieces, 9 pieces over 4. And to do that, you take 2, which is your whole number of pieces, you cut it into 4 parts, which is 2 times 4 is 8, plus 1 is 9/4. To go from an improper to a mixed, you're going the opposite direction. You're going to have a number that looks something like 27/4. And this is a division problem, 27 divided by 4. If you take 27 and divide it by 4, 4 goes into 27 6 full times, which is 24. 27 minus 24 is 3 out of 4. So you take the top number and divide it by the bottom number. 27 divided by 4 goes into that 6 times, which is 24. And this 3 is put over top of the 4. So that's your 4 skills of fractions. Now, just a couple little things to remind you on how to add or subtract fractions or multiply or divide. The thing to know is that when you add and subtract, they're common. And when you multiply and divide, they're also common. And so you can't mix the 2 rules up. When you add and subtract a fraction, you're going to find common bottoms, common denominators. And you do that by raising your fractions. So we'll raise our fractions to get bottoms that are the same. Then for addition, you're going to add the tops, you're going to leave the bottoms the same, and then at the end, you always simplify to the lowest term, so we go back to reducing. For a subtraction, you can choose. If you understand how to borrow, that's great. If you don't, you can change it from a mixed number to an improper. You subtract the tops, you leave the bottoms, and then you reduce. So I'm going to show you borrowing. We have 14 and 1/4 minus 13, no, let's say 12 and 3/4. I won't change the bottoms right now. I'll leave them the same to make it easier. You cannot take 3 from 1. So we're going to borrow from 14, making this a 13. And we're borrowing a whole. We're not borrowing an 11. That's not what we're doing. We're borrowing a whole, which is 4 fourths. So 1/4 plus 4 fourths is 5 fourths. Now I can subtract. 5 fourths take away 3 fourths is 2 fourths. 13 take away 12 is 1. This can now be reduced to 1 1/2. So that's an example of subtraction with borrowing. For multiplication and division, you cannot use mixed numbers, so you must change them to an improper for both problems. So you change them to an improper by doing the mixed to improper. You take the whole number times the bottom plus the top. Then for multiplication, you multiply all the way the tops, all the way across. You multiply the bottoms across, then you'll reduce the number. For division, you're going to take that second fraction and you're going to flip it over. And then you're going to go through the multiplication process. So an example of that might be 4/5 divided by 1/5. So I'm going to say 4/5 times 5/1. I can cross cancel if you understand how to do that, but if you don't, you just say 4 times 5 is 20. 5 times 1 is 5. 20 divided by 5 is 4. If I understand how to cross cancel, these 5's cancel out. 4 times 1 is 4. 1 times 1 is 1, and I still get 4. So subtraction and division are a little different, but multiplication and addition are usually the easiest. And that's how you do fractions.